Congratulations, darling. I'll send the divorce papers over on Monday.
Yes, of course. We'll discuss it then.
You all treated her like a problem at my own wedding. You looked away from her. You whispered. You left her standing alone. So let me say this before we go any further. If she did not stop for me that night, there will be no groom here today. Daniel Reed's voice cut through the reception, sharp and steady, and the whole tent went still. Ava Brooks stood near the flower arch at the edge of the lawn, a simple gray dress falling softly to her ankles. She was the kind of woman who did not take up a room by force, yet the way she carried herself made space anyway. Her shoulders were calm, her chin lifted, her hands folded like someone who had learned to hold herself together in places that never tried to hold her. She was the only black woman there, and for the last hour, the guests had made sure she felt it. The wedding looked perfect from a distance. A hill of green grass rolled toward a bright sunset. White chairs were lined in. Clean rows. Roses climbed the wooden arch like a promise. Tables glowed under candles. Music floated through warm air. People laughed in soft clusters, holding drinks, taking pictures, speaking about love as if love was always easy, but the way they moved around Ava made the beauty feel thin. When she arrived, a few eyes slid toward her, then away. A waiter offered her a drink, then hesitated when someone touched his arm and shook their head. A group of cousins paused their laughter and drifted to another table. At least 3 times, Ava stepped closer to a circle of guests, only for that circle to loosen and widen until she stood outside it again. Nobody said a cruel word out loud. They did something cleaner and colder. They erased her with polite distance. Ava felt every shift. She had spent her life reading rooms like weather. She knew when a smile was real and when it was a gate. She knew the quiet language of exclusion. She also knew the rule that kept her safe. Never let them see how much it hurts. So her face stayed calm. Her breathing stayed slow. Her silence became a kind of shield. She had not come for attention. She came because Daniel asked her to be here. She had tried to refuse. Twice. She knew what weddings like this could be. The stares, the guessing, the way people protect their comfort by making a stranger feel small. Daniel had not accepted her no. He looked into her eyes the way a person does when they are speaking from a place that does not bend. I need you there. Not for show. Because you are part of how I am still alive to stand at that altar. So she came, and now she stood by the arch, letting the breeze touch her hair while the crowd acted like she was not part of the day. Most guests did not know what she meant to Daniel. They told themselves lighter stories instead. Some thought Ava was an old love he never got over. Some decided she must be someone from the hospital staff who wandered too close. A few were simply uneasy around what they did not understand. The easiest thing for them was to keep distance and let silence do the work. Ava did not argue with silence. She waited it out. She kept her eyes on the valley below, watching trees sway gently, letting the smell of roses and grilled food drift toward her. The only reason she stayed steady was because she remembered another night, one that still lived in her bones. A year ago, Daniel Reed did not have an engagement ring or a wedding date. He had been walking to his car after a late dinner downtown when a speeding driver clipped him and vanished. The pavement was slick with rain and streetlight glare. His body hit the ground hard. His head spun. His leg was broken badly. Blood spread under him in a dark halo while his breath came in thin panic pieces. People passed by. Some looked for half a second. Some hurried faster. Umbrellas tilted away. Shoes splashed through puddles without stopping. The city kept moving like his pain was not part of its schedule. Ava was leaving her hospital shift when she saw him. She was tired, hungry, dreaming of a quiet bus ride home. Then she saw a man on the ground with blood mixing into rainwater. She ran without thinking. Her knees hit the pavement beside him. Her hands pressed down where she knew pressure mattered. She spoke low and steady, not because she knew he could hear her clearly, But because a calm voice can keep a person anchored when their body is trying to float away, stay with me. Look at me. You are not dying here. Not tonight. She called emergency services with one hand while holding him with the other. She kept him awake by asking small questions. His name, his favorite food, someone he loved. Each answer was a thread she used to pull him back when his eyes tried to close. She did not leave. She did not panic. She was a nurse who knew how fast. Minutes can become the difference between life and quiet forever. When the ambulance arrived, the paramedic said later that if she had not stopped, he would have been gone before they reached him. She had bought him time with courage and skill. She rode to the hospital because no one else was there. He had no family in the city. She sat beside his bed as dawn came pale through the window. She watched the monitor settle. She left only when she knew he was stable, slipping out quietly before anyone could thank her. Daniel woke up asking for her name. Ava Brooks. He repeated it slowly, like he was pinning the memory to his heart so it could never drift. After he healed, he found her. He brought coffee to the hospital break room with the nervous gratitude of someone who knows life can snap without warning. He said thank you. Then he said it again. Then he started showing up for reasons that were more than thank you. He wanted to know who she was, what she carried, what she believed. What she had survived. Ava was not used to people staying. She had grown up watching her mother work, herself tire while the world demanded more. She learned to be strong because she had to be, not because she wanted to be. She became a nurse because she promised herself she would be the person who stops, the person who stays, the person who does not walk past someone in pain. Daniel did not see her as a shadow or an obligation. He saw her as a person. That kind of seeing can change a life. Tonight, he wanted that truth in the room with him. Even if the room was not ready. Now, he stood at the center of the reception holding a glass, and the tent leaned toward him, expecting. The usual sweet words. He gave them some of that first. He thanked parents, friends, the team who made the day beautiful. He looked at his bride, Claire, with a warmth that made the crowd melt. Claire smiled back, radiant and kind, unaware of how sharp the air had been around Ava all evening. Then Daniel paused. The air shifted toward an edge no one expected. He turned his body and his eyes across the lawn, past cousins and co-workers and childhood friends, straight to the woman in gray by the flowers. There is someone here you have avoided. Today, he said, voice steady. Some of you turned away from her. Some of you treated her like she did not belong. I saw it, and I will not let it stand. Head snapped toward Ava, bodies tightened. People blinked like they had been caught. Daniel said her name again, clear and respectful. Ava Brooks. Ava felt the moment land around her like a new kind of light. She stayed still. Her eyes stung. Her throat tightened. But her posture did not break. Daniel's voice deepened with truth. A year ago, I was bleeding on a street, and the world walked past me. Ava did not. She knelt in the rain and kept me alive. Until help came. I am standing here today because she had the courage to stop when everyone else kept going. So if you are here to honor me, you honor her too. Silence fell hard and clean, not the silence that hides cruelty, the silence that faces it. And then people began to stand, not in a loud rush, in a slow wave. One table rose, then another, then the whole tent was on its feet. The same guests who had avoided Ava now looked at her with something they should have. Offered from the start, respect, humility, a real understanding of what kind of strength she carried. Claire stepped down from her place beside Daniel. Her smile softened into tears. She walked straight to Ava and took her hands. Thank you for saving the man I love, she said quietly. Ava nodded, breath shaking loose. She did not need applause. She never had. But being seen like this, honestly, felt like warmth reaching a place that had been cold all evening. The wedding moved forward again. Music returned. Laughter found its way back. But the room was different now. A line had been drawn by one brave voice. And everyone felt it, because the lesson of the night was simple and unforgettable. The strongest people are not always the ones who take the center. Sometimes they are the ones who stay kind in the corner, even when the world tries to make them disappear. If this story stayed with you, comment where you are watching from. Share the moment that hit you most. And subscribe for more stories that honor quiet heroes who change lives without asking for credit.